Secretary of State Antony Blinken said that the U.S. is prepared to take action against Houthi attacks in the Red Sea. He seemed to make more forceful comments about it. Just how far is the U.S. willing to go?
We talked about this yesterday. I'm not going to telegraph punches one way or another here. We're going to do what we have to do to counter and defeat these threats that the Houthis keep throwing up on commercial shipping in the Red Sea. We'll continue to consult with allies and partners about the appropriate next steps, but that's as far as I'll go.
What's the U.S. reaction to recent comments from the Houthi leader that any American attack will not go without a response and that the response would be bigger than the recent strike?
Again, I'm not going to speculate about potential future military operations one way or another. As we have said repeatedly, the Houthis need to stop these attacks, and that they will bear the consequences for any failure to do so.
And you talked about the U.S. Having discussions with the Israelis to lower the intensity of fighting. When are we going to see that happen?
You'll have to talk to the Israeli Defense Forces about their operations. I'm not going to lay out their timetable or their schedule of events. They have talked about the fact that they recognize a need to transition to a new phase of the military operation. We have obviously encouraged that kind of thinking and that kind of planning, and we'll see what they end up doing, but it's really for them to speak to.
Good. Thank you so much, Corinne. John, Senator Kaine.
So Patsy,
It's okay. You're looking at me, so it's okay. Senator Kaine and more than a dozen Senate Democrats are working to block future administration's request to bypass congressional oversight of arms transfer to Israel. Your comments?
It's hard for me to comment on some amendment language that we haven't seen and hadn't had a chance to take a look at. We're also very careful about talking about any pending legislation that could be considered on Capitol Hill. I would just tell you, broadly speaking, we obviously take the oversight responsibilities of Congress very, very seriously. We do the best we can to appropriately inform and consult with Congress as we provide foreign military assistance to other countries, including Israel, and that will continue.
But if you're saying, as you have said to my colleagues last week, that the U.S. is not actively assessing whether Israel is using these weapons in accordance to the laws of war, because you don't see any indication that Israel is violating those laws of war, and if there's no congressional oversight, no State Department internal review process, and no verification process on the ground, then how do we know that Israel is using these weapons in accordance to U.S. and international law?
I wouldn't agree that there's no congressional oversight. I think that's going a step too far in terms of describing the relationship that we have with members of Congress and the kind of foreign military assistance that we're providing. We are in constant touch with our Israeli counterparts, as I've said repeatedly, and we still see no indication that they're violating the laws of armed conflict. They are defending themselves against a still viable threat. There are too many civilian casualties. We've said that before. We want to see them take steps to reduce that. But there's no indications that they are deliberately and wantonly violating the law of armed conflict.
But just to clarify on that, John, if you say there is congressional oversight, has the administration given Congress a complete list of weapons that you are sending to Israel? When is that done before sending the arms transfer or after? Because as we know, there's two occasions of arms transfer already, December 9th and then December 29th, done under emergency spillation by the Secretary.
We follow the law. We follow the law, the intent and the spirit of the law. I'd refer you to the State Department for more details about that process. That's really under their purview.
Just to underline, is the U.S. holding Israel with the same standard of accountability that we apply to other partners that receive American weapons?
We are providing foreign military assistance to Israel as they defend themselves against Hamas. We have been very clear about what the expectations are for the use of that material, and that's not going to change.
Good, Andrew.